Hello everybody and welcome to episode 7 of Brunswald. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this episode, so in case you couldn't tell, we're building the football stadium in this episode. And European football, not American football. So a lot of people have been commenting that I should do a football stadium in Brunswald, all along this series, probably since we started. Decided to do it in today's episode. I just wanted to wait a little bit because these football stadiums tend to be a little bit more outside of the city, more towards the edges of cities. So that's why I didn't make it in episode 2 or something like that. But I felt that we had expanded this city or town, I guess, enough for me to make this. So, but there still isn't this is still quite far out from the city center. So there's still a lot of open space between this and the main part of the city. But I think this is a good spot. You will see better exactly where this is probably later on in the time-lapse. Or if you don't see it in the time-lapse, you'll see it in the before and after shot. So I'm using this asset that is by Amy Poldsci-Funk. It's a really cool asset. It's called the Undecorated Track and Field. So this is actually the same track and field that I used for Rheingold, which was a long time ago, but I actually used the whole stadium, which was the first asset that had detail and stuff around this whole track and field. But then apparently later on he uploaded a undecorated version of this, so that's what I put down here, and I think it turned out nice. So yeah, this is not gonna be a super big stadium, simply because Brunswald isn't a very big town. So yeah, I'm just using this track and field asset with that football field that I placed on top of it, because that grass part on the track and field was not detailed with lines and stuff like that. So I put this other one down on top of it, this stadium is not too big. I have few stands around it, which are by Crystal Listo, I think, and these stands work out really nice. So yeah, some towns and stuff have bigger football stadiums, but I felt like the size of this one works really good for Brunswald. I did not want to have it too big. I just really like how this looks, I don't know, I'm just happy with the size of it, so hopefully you guys like it as well. But I'm making this turnaround point there, which I think turned out pretty nice, a drop-off point, and I'm thinking of putting some coaches and stuff there for maybe the football teams get transported to that spots, and because usually football teams come in in buses and stuff I've seen on TV. So I think I might put down some buses there. I think that could be pretty cool, but I didn't do it in this time-lapse, but I'll probably go ahead and do that sometime later on, either off camera or in some episode, we'll see. Just doing some detailing here and putting down those pathways going through there. I didn't really know what to do in this corner, so ended up just putting a lot of trees and bushes and all that sort of stuff, and I think it turned out pretty nice. So I'm using the normal combination of trees and bushes that I tend to use around the town. And then I'm just doing some more detailing with planters, because there are these there are quite a lot of these open concrete areas in areas like this, and sometimes it just looks a little bit too boring. So what I usually do, as you can see, is just putting down planters and putting down trees. I think it just looks a little bit better than having too much open concrete, even though that actually is realistic a lot of the time in real life. Just sometimes it's a little bit hard to make it look nice with open concrete areas in city skylines, but and I'm putting down some type of I don't know what this is. This one is by I can't remember the name of the asset. no, I'm definitely pronouncing this wrong, but the guy that made stuff for Creative Decks, his series quite a while ago. I can't remember, something with D and C or something. Anyway, it's just those like small, I don't know, buildings for the football team and stuff like that, where maybe they talk with the coach or trainer or whatever. But I'm putting down these training fields here, which I really liked, because I think it would have been a little bit unrealistic to only have that big stadium field, I guess, the main field. So I decided to put down these practice fields, whatever they're called. And I think that really did improve this whole area, because like training fields, I don't know if you say training fields or practicing fields, I don't know. But they really make it look more realistic, because these tend to be around like stadiums and stuff. So yeah, these are really nice and turned out good. I'm just fencing them off and making like a small entrance over here so people can get in. Not too much detailing, honestly, more than this. Like I'm just putting down some trees and bushes in those open spots between the fields and the pathways there, which I'll do pretty soon. But I mean, I could have put some more detail and stuff around there, but I ended up not doing it. I did put down some of these goal posts here, which I thought was pretty necessary. But also, maybe you saw there on the main field, I put down some of these goal posts like in the corner there next to that building. Because that is something I've seen on real football fields. They tend to have like those goal posts just standing like the edges of the fields or whatever. That's at least what I've seen when I've been to these places, and I just thought that was a good detail to put down, because I mean, there isn't that much detail you can put down in areas like this, so small stuff do help. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm putting down a lot of bushes, trees, and as well putting down these magnolia trees, which I don't know, these have like almost become my favorite tree asset at this point. I really like using them pretty like rarely, I guess. Like I don't use them that often, but when you put them down, they just look really nice. So Mr. Mason did a really nice job on those. So I'm now making like a big parking lot here, which I thought was needed for an area like this. I would assume on like a match day, this whole parking lot would be filled up, and maybe like in areas like this, I've seen that, well, if it's more rural, they tend to have like grass parking as well. You know, like a lot of people, like when these like main parking lots, the asphalt parking lots get overcrowded, I guess you say. People just park on the grass and stuff like that. So I actually didn't add that, but that might be something I want to add as well, because I've seen that in real life. But yeah, just connecting up this parking lot with all of these paths, which are super nice. Yeah, just continuing the detailing with trees and stuff. So I'm gonna leave you with some music now, because I've been commentating for pretty much like 10 minutes. So yeah, enjoy some music for a few minutes, and then I'll be back. I hope you enjoyed the music, but what we're doing here is we've been working on these apartments that are along this street here. Yeah, I'm currently working on this supermarket, which is the first supermarket in Brunswald, actually, that we're making. And I really liked how this one turned out. Like, I'm super happy how this ended up, this supermarket. So yeah, this is a really cool asset. I can't remember who made it, but yeah, you can just search for I don't know how you say it in English, COOP. In Swedish you say Coop. Yeah, so putting down that truck there, which is actually like the Swedish version of this brand. Anyway, yeah, so just doing a lot of detailing here. Just put some parking spots around this the supermarket. But those other apartments that I put down there, those are pretty common to see between, like, when you're sort of when cities are transitioning from the main, like, historical city center out to the, like, suburbs, the villas and stuff. So between there you have these sort of apartment blocks, or like in Sweden you have like the million programs and stuff, which a hint, we are going to make a million program in this series, so yeah, stay tuned for that will happen. Yeah, so putting down those apartments just along that road, and I think it looked really realistic, and I think these apartments are like Russian tenements or something. Or maybe they weren't Russian tenements. I downloaded some apartments that had something to do with Russia. Or like Soviets or whatever. But yeah, I think those look really cool. Then I'm just putting down some car props outside of the supermarket. And we'll soon be getting into like a quick segment here where I'll be going to that plaza that is close to the train station. And actually replacing one of the buildings there with a church. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, because I've seen a lot of comments about people saying that I should have more churches in Brunswald, and we will be putting down a church pretty much now. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy this. So yeah, we're putting down a church here, this pretty old asset, which I think looks really cool. So we're putting this down here, and it just worked out really nice. So hopefully a lot of you are satisfied with another church in the city center. And this one is even bigger than the one we put down in the first episode, so I think it turned out really cool. I really like that asset. But yeah, this was sort of the final part of the time-lapse putting down this church. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a like. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram to get updates, screenshots, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and bye-bye.